Good morning, children. Today's class we will see the files in the computer. Files in the computer means it's like a storage part. Files means it will be like a documented or PPT wise or like a Excel, that we call it as in files. Okay, some files. Suppose if your teacher said you to write the assignments for this chapter or that chapter, that files where you people will be maintaining, right? That we call it as in files. Files are the collection of data stored somewhere in a computer. Means it's like a collection of data, it will be stored in your computer. Means suppose if you take, for example, if you take at home your mother will be kept all the things should be done for the everyday's daily life things to do the food. She'll be keeping so many things, right? It's like a collection of grains or collection of some masalas, everything, isn't it, right? That we call it as an one file. Will take it as in the computer language. Okay, that we call it as in files. It is a collection of data stored. It will be stored at home also. Some things, grains and all, everything will be stored at home, right? Like that only in the computer we will be storing the data. It will be collection of data. It will be stored somewhere in a computer. Somewhere means it will be like some other folders or some other drive, everything. Okay. Next, each file has name, a location, a size, and usually a date that indicates when it was a last changed. Means a file can contain its name. Suppose suppose in your class so many students will be there. In that students, so one book contains same books will be there with all of them. The names contains your name will be there on your book, isn't it, right? So the book contains your name. And the location means suppose it will be like all the subjects racks will be there. That location only will be given the books, that thing. And a size means it will becomes number of books has been kept in your school. Then usually a date means whenever the rack is free, it will be the books will be with you. Then whenever the rack will be in the rack contains that books, it will be the last date. Means on the day the rack in the track the books were there, we will be saying no, that we call it as an date last indicated. Means it will be in the other day the books were there, like that the files also will be indicated last date it was there in that file, or you have done that some changes will be shown. Now we got how what you mean by file, and the file has its name, location and size. Okay, what do you mean by files? Files are the collection of data stored in a computer also, we can say, or stored somewhere in a computer also, we can say. Next, files are stored in several places in the computer. In several places the files can be stored. Where your first one they have given CD, or in the DVD we can store the files. Next will come hard disk or a drive. So this we call it as a hard disk or a hard drive also. In that we can store the files. Next we will see in the pen drives we can store the files. And computer's memory means RAM, by using there also you can store the files. And computer's permanent memory means ROM, there also the files will be stored. Then from the tapes or from the floppy disks. Nowadays we are not using the tapes and the floppy disks. Nowadays we are using the pen drives, isn't it, right? Now we got what you mean by files and where and all files has been stored. Okay, so we will see next files hold and store the information of the different kinds that can be read by a computer. Means the files will be in some other places, or it will be stored in some other drive or some other places. It can be read by a computer. The computer can be read. Then files are a different types of the files are there. Here, first one we'll call it as an text files, image files, music files, and video files. Text files means it contains only the text. For example, MS Word will be there, or Notepad, or a WordPad, that we call it as an text files. Then image files means only the images files will be stored, that we call it as an images files, means only it contains only the images, leaving the images nothing will be there, that we call it as an images files. For example, MS Paint, you will be drawing everything in the computer, you will be drawing, no, that we call it as an MS Paint window. That paints only will be, that we call it as an image files. Next, music files means only the audio parts will be saved, means that music files will contain only the audio, that we call it as a music files. For example, it will be their mp3 files or a wave files or some other files, that we call it as a music files. Next, we will go to the video files. Video files contains only the video, means only the video part. Suppose if you want to watch the movie, only the video will be there, right? Remaining under will mean that video files will call it as a, that we will be calling it as a video files. For example, it will be like mp3 4 or a wave files, that will be there. Have you got children now how what are the different files are there in your computer? Thank you.